Dude, what's up?
What's up, coach?
Webb, what up? Dude, do I
Uh,
call you Rowdy? Like, how do we do this?
you can call me Rowdy. Yeah, that's what the pod goes by as Rowdy. So
All right.
let's
Got
do
you. Hey, got it. Say less.
it. How are we doing, man?
Dude, we're good. How are y'all doing?
Good,
Pretty
man.
good.
Good.
Making it a dream, just talking
Heck
sports
yeah,
every
dude.
week.
Heck yeah. Webb had a dream. Come on.
Exactly. Well, joining us now is obviously Coach Fowler, Zach Fowler, strength and conditioning coach at Performance Course. Currently, are you still at Lone Star?
I am at Lone Star High School.
Still at Lone Star High School up in Dallas, and then was at the very own Round Rock High School where he got
Go
the
Dragons, baby.
opportunity to be with me and Coop for a couple years. So,
Yeah.
but with that being said, we'll we have some questions kind of laid out for you, so we'll just kind of roll into those and get to know you a little bit more for our fans.
Yeah, dude. Let's do it.
All right, coach. I got the first one here.
Oh, this is it. It's good
Yeah,
stuff.
I'll get to the who's the better Weber here in a second, but we'll
Okay.
get
All
to
right.
that later.
I figured that was coming.
No, so we know you're with Performance Course, but what were you doing before, and like how did you get to like where you're at now?
So, Performance Course was actually at my high school, Allen High School. And I was doing it ever since I was in second grade. I didn't know what it was, what strength training was, or any of that stuff. My parents just dropped me off, I guess, because I had a lot of energy and it was the summertime and they needed to leave me somewhere. So I grew up, I just fell in love with it. First day I walked in, um, to our athletic facility at Allen, as a pup, just running around with all my friends and all that stuff. I fell in love with it. So every summer, every opportunity that I could, I did it. And then, dude, I had the mentality of a lot of high schoolers where it's like, hey, I'm gonna go to the NFL. I'm gonna play for the University of Texas or whatever it is. And once that kind of things came into, things got clear that wasn't gonna be me. I had to decide what I was going to do. It was always just, hey, I always loved Performance Course. I loved the weight room. I loved training. I loved lifting and the whole process of leading up to the games. That was what I loved. Just like the gladiator type stuff, like preparing for war type stuff. I loved it. So my boss still, Gino Pierce, he was the guy that ran Allen. And so I asked him, I was just, hey, what do they call you? What do you do? Like, I would love to be you. He's like, hey, I'm a strength conditioning coach. You need to major in kinesiology or exercise science, whatever you want to call it. And so I was, hey, yeah, let's do it. So I went to Texas A&M. I interned over there because once I saw, hey, the big racks and the great athlete, dude, this is what I want to do.
Right.
But every summer I would go back with Performance Course, and run sites. I ran Frisco Lone Star. Actually, was the first site I ever ran. That was the summer of 2015. I was 20 years old, and I was told to act like a 26-year-old and get it done. Hey, yes, sir. And that's where I met Coach Rayburn, who's still the head coach at Frisco Lone Star. And I always, I interned during the year at Texas A&M, and I would always go back in the summer and be with high schoolers and all that stuff with Performance Course. And really what it boiled down to for me is the life that those dudes live, the work that goes into it. I love the lifting and I love the training and I love all that. I love being around the athletes and getting to know them and having those conversations with them. But just, looking forward, and now that I have a wife and God willing, one day I have children, it's like, that's a rough life to live, man. If you don't win, like, see ya. Like you got to go across the country. You got to be there tomorrow, pack your bags, all that stuff. And so, it just came to a decision for me, I guess, of which route I wanted to go. And I chose the high school route, and I met you two knuckleheads, and here I am, dude.
There you go.
For sure. What are we squatting, benching these days? About 450, 500?
I knew y'all were going to pull that out, dude.
Had to.
It's been a minute since I've gone for a one rep on either of those. So I can't answer that question. I got to leave that one open ended.
That's all right. Well, looking at this, so obviously people always talk about how training and when it comes to lifting should always kind of change a little bit from sport to sport,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to football and baseball, obviously. What would you kind of say or think those biggest differences are or should be between the two?
It's a good question. I think that just because really, like, when I watch football games and when I watch baseball games or basketball games, whatever it is, my mind goes to like what is demand, like what movements are they doing mostly? Like, for example, like football, like, dude, they're gonna be beat every week. It's like they're getting in car wrecks. So now you got to talk about getting bigger, building armor, all of those things. Like, you got to think about like 4 to 6 second basically fights, like title bouts that they're going. Then you rest about 25, 30 seconds, and then you go again. And so that's where the conditioning standpoint comes in. That's where the strength, the power, all those things. And so really how I think about it is, at least at the high school level, and probably I would say at the collegiate level too, is the basics are the basics, like squatting, pressing, all those things. Everybody needs that. Now, when you look at like the auxiliary work or the accessory work, if you will, that's where you kind of get, nitty gritty or tweak it as far as what the sport demands. So like baseball, for example, my guys at Lone Star, we just finished week 7 of our program, and we're doing a lot of rotational stuff on the back end. So we floor press today. We did front squat. I mean, everybody's going to front squat for the most part, pressing. Everybody's going to do that. But once we get into our back end stuff and our pulls, I mean, we're doing single arm rows just like everybody else. But we're going to do rotational med ball work, a lot like you did, Coop. Rotational med ball work, rotational lunges. We'll get them on the bands and work really just torquing, like you're at a plate hitting the baseball.
Yep.
Their running demands are going to be way less intense, so to speak, than football guys, just because you don't necessarily need as much as that. Now, you got to run a curve a lot more than those guys do. So we got to work that. We got to work a lot of hip dissociation, like tracking a ball, all those things, reaction, which football does too. But again, that's what you kind of look at as far as how my brain works is the basics are the basics, but on the back end stuff, now you kind of tweak it to what they need specifically on how they're working in their sport.
For sure.
For sure. Now, Coach, we know, you're strength and conditioning coach, but you're more than that. It's a lot more than that. Okay?
It is. It is.
Your motivation for winning and winning as a team is a big thing for you. And I've had a pleasure, being one of your guys.
100%.
But,
Yep.
were you always like that, or how did that mindset kind of come to be?
So, dude, these are good questions, man. Who's coming up with these?
All
Hell
of these
yeah.
guys.
Wow.
It's a trio. It's the trio,
Dude,
baby.
That's awesome. Okay, so my high school, Allen High School, we were very successful. And I went to all the games since I was I think my first game I went to was in 4th grade. And it was given that, hey, we're going deep in the playoffs. We're making a run for the state title. Like, there ain't no second place in our mind. If we get to playoffs and we lose, like that can't happen type stuff. And I was very fortunate to grow up in a community in a high school with coaches and really like teachers and everybody, like Joe down the road that did the barbecue joint. Like, man, it mattered to him. And so, going into middle school and going into high school, it never changed. It was always, hey, this is what we do. We win. Like, we're trying to be the last team standing. And if we're not, that's a problem. Now, where it kind of took a step further as far as like we do this thing together for me is I was never the most talented dude. I was never, like Kyler Murray was our quarterback my senior year, and that dude's like touched. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't athletic like that. I was mainly a special teams guy is really what I was. If you want to look at it, I was like like a 6-man coming off the bench in the NBA type stuff. So I was really living through those starting 22 guys. Like I wanted them to go ball out. So, we could get that ultimate goal that I grew up knowing is, hey, like we're going to be the state champions. Like that, it is what it is.
Right.
And last on that too is like growing up in a community like that and growing up around guys like that. It's like, we didn't like hope to win. We never wished we expected to win. That was an expectation. And so again, not being the most talented guy is okay. I need other guys for me to win. I need other dudes to go out and do their job so I can win. And so that just kind of almost just got ingrained in me. And so then like going into college and coming back and running sites and doing performance courses, it's like, hey, I'm still that guy. Like even though I'm coaching dudes that are, like the Ryan O'Keefes or the Garrett Millers or whatever, you need these other dudes around you to get this thing done. Like there's other guys that live through you and need you to go out and do your job so that way that they can win. So you got to put on for those dudes just like you put on for you. Now we're about to fire me up and get like, we got to go. We got to go now. Let's go
love
back
my
to the rock
strength
and
coaches,
live, man. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Makes me want to run through the wall.
Fowler's one of those guys where, it's 30 degrees outside and he's wearing his short sleeve shirt.
Don't do that. That's not me, Coop. I hate the cold. You know that.
Yeah, like I said, I love my strength coaches, man. They were awesome. They get you going, get you pumped up every day. Looking at your career as a whole, what would you say your dream job is, or are you already there and fulfilling that? What would be your number one job there?
So I was, that's another great question. And it was told to me by one of my mentors that when you coach, there has to be an idea of what that dream job is, but it's the cliche, be where your feet are, or whatever it is you want to say is when you attack the job you have right now as the dream job, then your dream job is going to come. Yeah. So really, to be honest with you, like 100%, I don't necessarily have an answer for that of what that ideal job is. It's just one thing where like, I'll know it when it comes to me, if that makes sense. Yeah. I feel like if I don't look at the job I have as a dream job right now, like the kids that I'm going to see every day, like I'm doing them a disservice. So it's almost like, I'll know what the dream job is when it comes to me, but the right now, that's my dream job.
For sure.
Gotcha.
So looking back a little bit to your experience obviously you went to a big high school, but looking back to when you were at the massive 6A high school at Round Rock and now at Lone Star, kind of what have those experiences kind of been like? That's kind of been the major differences, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So before I came down to Round Rock, I was at Lone Star. I was still in college when I was coming to Lone Star predominantly. So I wasn't around that place all the time like I was at Round Rock. But again, you want to talk about the first year, and this was God's plan. It was just laid out. But the first summer that I was in charge of a performance sports program at Frisco Lone Star, we ended up going to state championship. And it was like, we ended up losing to Cedar Park, but like they hadn't seen that success before. And it's almost like that season changed it to where the expectation there was, hey, we win. Like we go to the state title game. Now we know what it looks like and we want to do that all the time. So then going down and again too, it's like DFW, me coming from DFW, me being at a 6A program in DFW. It was like, you had all these powers around it, like the Highland Parks, the South Lake Carols, all that stuff. So going down to Round Rock, dude, moving down there, driving down 35, the only thing like high school wise, or the only places that I knew that had it like that was Westlake and Lake Travis. That's it. And so coming in there, to be honest with you, and that's why going down to Round Rock and being like, that was a awesome experience that like, you can't replace, is going to a place that didn't have that expectation of we're going to be the last one standing, I had to really create genuine relationships, like with y'all two, with the J Max, with the Garretts, with the Sullys, all of the, like, they had to realize who I was and where I was coming from to understand that expectation that I had, not just for myself, but for them. And so at first, dude, it was really frustrating because it's like, man, I'm supposed to come in here, blow the whistle. You guys are going to be fired up and we're going to go win state and let's lift weight and let's run and let's do it. But they had never really seen it like I had seen it, at least. And so then once I got to know
baseball did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a well-oiled machine, baby. But yeah, no, like them, I almost had to stop and say, look, I'm not even taking the time to get to know them. I'm just expecting them to think like I do. So that was those 3 years was a huge experience for me of like, hey, you can't coach the kid unless you know who the kid is as a human and they know you as a human. So when I know where you're coming from and then you know where I'm coming from, dude, we can make special things happen. But that's the first thing you got to do. Then everything else falls into place. Whereas before going to Round Rock, it was, hey, when you walk in and we train, like we're training to win. That's it. Like, I don't need to know your name. Hey, you, let's go. Oh, okay, bet. Yes, sir. Versus, hey, man, like chill out with all that type stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, like the expecting to win part, the expecting to go be the last one standing, it was, you got to know me first before I can get you thinking like that.
Yeah, man. So you being a football guy, what do you think about the college playoff, the 4 that are in there? And did you win state as a senior with Kyler?
I did, yes, sir. Yeah. I did. So the playoff stuff, this is what I thought y'all were gonna open up with. So I wanted to really make sure that I got to get my responses right.
We had to get you pumped up first.
Yeah.
Dude. Okay, so we'll go one by one. So Michigan, dude, that's a well-oiled machine. And plus the fact that now, I mean, they're moving like they're pissed off. Like they're playing them versus the world. Like that's a real deal. Like when it's nobody wants success but us, that's a real thing. Obviously they go in, they win the Big Ten. I actually took Iowa plus 21.5 because guys, come on. Like that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. Like just give me a tub, one tub. But again, shut them out. They're the one with what happened. At the 2, obviously with the way that, I don't know, two's a little bit weird for me. Okay. Just because I don't know how to say this here.
Between what teams?
I know that I don't want to say it because it's gonna bother me. But Texas, like it. But again, it's just because I think of the Big 12 schedule is why they're. But dude, to be honest with you, like that's where my money's at. Like winning the whole thing. If I'm gonna be honest with you, of where they're at right now, like they're rolling. And you give.
I can't believe I'm listening to my boy Fowler say this right now.
Dude,
I love it. I absolutely love it,
dude. You give a dude like Sark a month to prepare for that game against the Washington, like that's spooky, man. Like that really is.
Yeah.
And they're hitting their stride right where they need to. Now going back to Washington, okay, dude, to be like going in to the Pac-12 title game, I thought that Oregon was going to roll them. Like Oregon was firing on all cylinders. But dude, Washington came out and it's almost like they ran a completely different game plan of what they've done all year. Like, hey, we're going to really run the rock. We're going to freaking throw it short, get them up, and then Penix can go do his thing. Washington is I don't know. I guess I didn't necessarily believe in them. I thought that Oregon was going to roll them. Saw what they did in the Pac-12 title game. I think if they play again, I don't know if it happens like that.
Yeah.
So it's like now I'm almost putting in my head of what Washington are we going to get?
Exactly. I mean,
but again, they should be in. Like that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like UT when it comes to that too, because like UT had those games during the middle of the season after the OU game where it's like, what Texas are you going to really get? Like, are they going to play these close games with these teams that they shouldn't, like Washington did? So,
yeah. But I mean,
get
again,
the juicy stuff. Get to the 4 spot.
Yeah. So again, like Texas too is like with the OU game, like Venables wasn't going to lose that game. Like there ain't no way.
Yeah.
And really, even with Quinn out, dude, they still they didn't look like a bad team. Yeah. And Kansas State's always that team that plays everybody to the wire. Like they're going to come out and play with anybody.
Oh yeah.
And they got through that one the way I wanted them to play OU in that big, because then it would have been a real statement. But again, I think Texas is a spooky team right now. Really spooky. And then we get to 4.
Here we go. This is the most controversy there can be, baby.
We get to 4. And I see both sides of it. Florida State is undefeated team, Power 5, conference champ, all of those things. They have the resume, but without Jordan Travis, that is a different team. Like everybody out there knows it. And I have a good buddy who actually works in performance course who is a diehard Knowles fan, and he is like beside himself. And again, yes, you went undefeated. Yes, it is so you think automatically like we're not going to win. Like, why do games matter? Blah, blah. You can't tell me after watching them go to the swamp, play in Florida the way that I know it's the swamp at night, but Florida don't got Tim Tebow. They ain't got Chris Leak. They ain't got all those dudes. They ain't Florida. So yeah, the swamp can get down, but if you are that team that everybody says you are, go in there and prove something.
Yep.
Then you play Louisville in the ACC title game. Their defense played phenomenal. They did. But you got to put up more than 16 points. And they knew that. They knew that going in that game. Like, hey, we need to win convincingly. We do. And they didn't. They didn't. And without Jordan Travis, that's a completely different football team. I get it. You won the ACC. I get it. You're undefeated. But that's a different team. Yep. With the SEC, it's crazy to me. Like it is like if you are the SEC champ, you get in. But for Georgia to go however many games in a row,
29.
Dominate all year, you lose to a Nick Saban coached Alabama team by 3. You're the number 1 ranked team in the country. You're out. That's crazy. I mean, yes, Alabama's the SEC champ, all of that. And they got beat by Texas in Tuscaloosa and everything, like the South Florida game. Yeah. But how Georgia played all year.
Yep.
And you're going to do the eye test thing, so to speak, with Florida State. But you're not going to do the eye test thing with Georgia. They just have the SEC stamp, SEC champ by their name. They're in. I don't know. Like, again, get me on recording. I think Georgia needs to be in.
So you think Georgia should be in over
who
Bama?
You take out Alabama?
Yeah, over Bama.
I think Georgia needs to be in instead of Alabama. Because, again, like what Kirby Smart said after that game, which is true, is if you think of the 4 best teams in the country, there's no way that you don't say Georgia. There's no way.
Agreed.
Well, I mean, they've also had them at 1 this whole time. The 1 loss brings them all the way down to 6.
Exactly.
Not even 5, 6.
Well, it really comes down to the fact that UT goes in to Bama and beats them at Bama. I mean, if UT doesn't do that, you probably have Georgia and Bama in at 3 and 4, and Florida State still gets screwed either way. So
that's true. That's true.
I'm gonna go off script here. I was supposed to ask you a different question, but I'm gonna ask you a football related question. Since we all disagree about it, okay, we got freaking Daniels right there. We got Bo Nix right here. I'm with Penix. Who do you have winning the Heisman?
Dude, I'm a Bo Nix guy. I gotta be honest.
Even after he lost twice to Michael Penix?
Bro, Oregon doesn't do what they do without Bo Nix.
Exactly.
They don't.
Well,
Washington too. What's that?
Does Washington?
No.
LSU. I mean, LSU
too.
might have 4 victories without Dan.
That is valid. However, now you go to the stat line. Doesn't Bo Nix have more tubs? I could be wrong. I have no idea.
Daniels? I don't know.
I think they're like almost the same.
I was talking about Penix.
Yeah, Bo has better stats than
completion
Penix
percentage.
does. Yeah, Bo's got better stats than Penix, but Daniels has it all in the bag.
Yes, Daniels has a stat line, but bruh, you ain't a win.
Yeah,
you ain't a win.
You lost 3.
Yeah. Now again, he's unreal, but I mean, based off again criteria, how it's been, like you gotta win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be interesting. I mean, I think the Vegas favorite's still Daniels by a shit ton now too. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think it goes Daniels. Like before that game, it was like Daniels was minus 150 and Bo Nix was like plus 150, but I think it's even more spread out now.
Well, now and then Daniels just won that award.
AP Player of the Year.
There's only been 2 people that have won that award that haven't won Heisman. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was one of them Vince that year? I remember Vince won one year, and they're like, he's going to win the Heisman.
Yeah, and Reggie took it.
Yeah.
Little cheater.
Hey, man. They need to give him that back. They need to give him that back.
Sticking on.
Coop, I have a question for you. Do you listen to he's going for the corner, he's got it on repeat before you go to bed?
I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've watched that whole game.
Coop, tell him the one you really listen to more.
Oh, Justin Tucker's kick is up. Justin Tucker's kick is go.
All right, we good? Like, we good?
I'm joking, Fowler.
All right, see y'all. That was fun.
What do you think about the offensive coordinator? What do you think about Colin?
Dude, I don't know so much about him as a coordinator, but dude, I loved him when he was playing for K-State.
He was a dog. Yeah.
He was a dog.
Mm-hmm.
He was in New York too for the Heisman one year, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was the year that Johnny won.
That's right.
They kind of made a big deal of it because it was Johnny's birthday yesterday whenever they hired him too. So it was just like a little weird thing. Yeah.
That's weird.
But they were both at the same Heisman ceremony.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably
I'll tell you this:
young guy.
Wanted when A&M was hiring a coach. One of the dudes that I was excited about, like if it was real, I was reading whatever. But that head coach from K-State.
Oh yeah,
that would have been awesome.
So do you like the hire at head coach?
I like it. I like him. I think that I got my hopes up when stuff was coming out about like Dan Lanning. Dude, I was like, heck, that's what we need right there. And then too, I read something where Kyle Whittingham from Utah.
Yep.
That would have been awesome.
Oh yeah.
Because we need a dude that's like, hey, we do it this way, and that's how we do it. Let's roll.
Yeah.
Which I think that Elko would do that. Like I said, I think I got my hopes up reading into too much stuff.
Now, I think as long as his OC, because he's gonna try to bring like the wrecking crew type back. And I think if his OC and that OC there, he's physical minded, and I think that's what A&M wants to be more, and his offense, they're gonna run the ball and they're gonna be physical. So
yeah,
but he can also throw some, good passes, good pass game in there too.
Oh yeah,
I think it's not bad.
Now you just need to increase your NIL fund so you can keep some of these dudes from transferring.
Hey, look, one thing I know is A&M, dude, we got money. We got money. That ain't a problem, dude.
What's weird to me is the defensive guys are half or most of the guys that are leaving, and like that was their coach a couple of years ago. So
that is weird. That is really weird.
Yeah, it is.
I think they'll be all right. I like Elko for the hire, honestly, for y'all. I'm not being biased at all. I like Elko there. I'm not, I'll give it to you.
Good. We'll see you next year, dog. You better come with us.
Kyle Field,
that's
let's
gonna be
go.
awesome.
Come with us.
Let's go together. Let's go.
Get us some tickets. Come on.
Yeah, and make sure you don't get my little cousin beat up because he's gonna be talking.
that's gonna be like getting Taylor Swift tickets, dude.
Yeah,
that game.
Ridiculous.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
I remember when that leaked, I told my wife, I was like, babe, whatever we gotta do. Whatever we gotta do,
We're eating ramen noodles for a week. Eating ramen noodles for a week. We're going to that game.
Dude, that's gonna be nuts. That's gonna be nuts.
It is. Well, man, we appreciate you coming on and obviously answering our questions and talking some ball with us.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. I'm proud of you guys, man. This is awesome. What's like the next sponsors is the next step or what?
Yeah, we're trying to get some sponsors. We got the merch coming out, which I know
I saw that.
Yeah, the merch will be coming out soon. And then we just got on Spotify this week. So we're on Spotify now. So for the people that don't want to have to look at Coop's face every week, they can just listen.
And we're writing blogs too. We're writing blogs.
So, are you?
Yeah.
Coop ain't writing. Coop's girlfriend's right.
The girls are writing blogs.
There
we got
you go. Family affair, baby. I love it.
So sponsors the next thing. So, if Performance Course wants their little thing right down here in the corner, just let me know.
That would look good. I'll talk to my people, man. That would look real good.
Hell yeah. But hey, we appreciate it. And if your schools, they need Performance Course. They need it. Coach Fowler and the boys, they know what they're doing.
Appreciate you guys, man. This is awesome.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming on.
Nice to meet you, man.
Thank y'all. Nice to meet you. Have a good one.
Coach.
You too.
See you soon.